The world is full of mysteries. There's so much more we don't know than we do. It usually takes a long time to ravel an unsolved crime, an unexplained sighting, or strange things falling from the sky. Today we'll tackle 10 unsolved Viking mysteries that shocked scientists, from mysterious Viking villages, an oddly named Viking hero, and even a possible lost colony. As far as anyone knows, the Vikings left a legacy of destruction and mystery wherever they went. Here are some of their secrets, which in the late 10s, along with Iceland, settled in the southwest, which was previously uninhabited. We'll get into some of the mysterious surrounding Vikings, starting with number 10, Inuit Greenlanders' mysterious disappearance. Sigrid Bjorndatir and Torstein Olfason was married in Greenland in September 1408, beautiful granite church. As a result of a boat blowing off course while traveling from Norway to Iceland, they ended up in Greenland, and they chose to stay and settle in with the Vikings who had already settled there hundreds of years earlier. There were 3 letters written to each other and recordings by scribes about their union as well as other things going on in Greenland. However, the Vikings simply disappeared after these records were made. A large portion of Greenland was inhabited by Inuit Greenlanders, and their exports of walrus tusks led to rapid growth. However, the Greenlandic Vikings mysteriously vanished after 400 years, leaving their settlements to become ghost towns. And we don't know why until now. As a result of climate change, Greenland abandoned its colonies, but modern studies indicate that sudden climate change did not occur there. It has been suggested that they went to Canada because the soil in Greenland was eroding, but some say the Inuit pushed them back. In fact, new research suggests that it may not have been colder weather that caused the Vikings to return to the lands they originally came from, but rather the Black Death. Nevertheless, the reason for the Vikings' disappearance remains a mystery at this point, and all of this is speculation. Number 9. Teeth etching. Body modification was not a new concept to the Vikings, but they took it to a whole new level. The English mass grave was discovered in 2009 containing Viking warriors. Team archaeologists at Oxford University discovered something strange. Very precise filing of the teeth into enamel was evident. An expert in filing is believed to have created these intricate and carefully executed patterns. In addition to being a difficult process, it would have also been painful to attempt it on oneself. A large number of teeth with similar markings have been found in the Viking cemetery of Koparsvik, Gotland. At the practice took of the 10th century, people were able to choose the type of etching they wanted. There are some upper front teeth that only have 1 or 2 marks drilled into them, while others have 4 or more. It's unclear whether the act was performed for intimidation, to demonstrate the person's fighting ability, or for any other reason. Number 8. Mysterious Chieftain Burial. For the Viking burial ceremony, warriors were transported on a ship set ablaze as part of the final journey. An ancient Viking chieftain was recently discovered buried in a remote Scottish Highland peninsula. However, according to modern archaeologists, it was the final resting place of a Viking who led a pretty incredible life of travel during the 10th century. He was buried with his weapons, a drinking horn, a whetstone, and an Irish pin. As the wood had long since rotted, only the iron pieces remained. His grave was adorned with soil impressions, rivets, and other remains of his Viking boat, which was long rotted. There's no clear indication of who this man was, despite the burial process reserved for the most revered. Number 7. Ulfbarth swords. It was the Vikings who invented swords, but they were widely used throughout Europe due to their strength. Ulfbarth swords were legendary for dominating battlefields. Each king wanted one, but only 200 of them remain today. Despite the fact that there are many imitations, it's obvious to distinguish between real Ulfbarth swords and Witcher imitations, but no one knows how Vikings made Ulfbarth swords. Despite the fact that their blades are extremely pure, the swords are mysterious. The Vikings somehow developed the Ulfbarth blade, which contained almost no impurities, and compared to modern steel, compared to the rest of Europe, which was producing sword blades that was brittle and poor quality. Compared to other medieval steel swords, the blades contained 3 times as much carbon. Since steel production did not begin in Europe until 800 years later, it's also unclear where the raw material would have come from. The Viking decision to produce such an advanced sword remains a mystery, as do the sword's inscriptions of Ulfbarth T. Experts have yet to decipher just how and why they made such a weapon. Number 6. Eric Bloodaxe. A Norwegian Viking named Eric Bloodaxe ruled Northumbria in northern England. It's unclear how he achieved this position, but the English king was dissatisfied with it. His soldiers raided Northumbria in revenge, promising more destruction unless they removed their Viking king. Eric Bloodaxe lost his throne very quickly, but 4 years later, in 92, he regained it by converting to Christianity. But we're not sure how he did it. In the years before his death, Eric Bloodaxe was again driven out by power by beings. He was banished to Spain, and though he was murdered there, we don't know exactly how he died. Some sagas describe him as the last king of Northumbria, when he was betrayed in battle by his own soldiers. Whether he was also king of Norway is unclear. Oh, and before we continue, to fuel your curiosity, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos about this. And now let's get back to it. Number 5. Sunstones. It goes as follows. During a late-night patrol in a small town near Liverpool, a policeman arrested a man that thought was a mugger. They noticed a green glow in the sky after arresting him. When they sailed through the sky, they saw the cloud glowing brightly and shaped like a Viking longship, moving at a faster speed than other clouds. In the cloud, there are 20 Vikings, which gradually appear more like a real ship. As the cloud fades away, they later discovered that a Viking ship was discovered in 828 near here. North myth tells that Vikings used sunstones to navigate Western ships, and people have wondered since the Middle Ages if that's true, and if so, if the shipwreck of the 16th century that made sunstones. Several researchers believe that a cloudy but transparent crystal found beneath the rubble may be a sunstone from a crystal mine in Iceland. As it turns out, you can see the sun on cloudy days by looking through the crystal, so sunstones may have existed or not. Rotating the crystal can reveal the sun's position in degrees, so sunstones existed outside legends may have been possible. Number 4. Boneless Eivor. As a Viking hero mentioned in numerous sagas and poems, his adventures were legendary. He led many raids against England, becoming a powerful Viking king before being captured and executed by the king of Northumbria. It is hard to determine if he existed, since there is no historical record for him, but he appears in more than 30 poems. In the poems, he was the father of Boned Eivor, a Viking who existed. Boneless Eivor was a Viking commander who invaded England. We don't know why he was called boneless. Many reasons were suggested, including erectile dysfunction and disability, so Eivor may have been boneless for some reason. Number 3. Rollo. It's believed that Rollo was the first Duke of Kings after he raided what is now France by the Franks. The king granted Rollo and his warriors Normandy, making him the first Duke of Kings. Skeleton was found to be much older than Rollo and had family connections when he opened his grandson's tomb and performed DNA tests. Although he appears to be Celtic chief, he was buried in 1888 in a medieval manner. Number 2. Thor's Hammer. Despite over 1,000 hammer-shaped pennants found throughout northern Europe, experts have not been able to determine their true significance for decades. A recent discovery solved the mystery. The pennants are Mjolnir, Thor's powerful hammer. Danish researchers unearthed the amulet from the 10th century on the island of Lolland in Denmark, the only one with an inscription in ruins. Researchers discovered this pennant was engraved with the words Hammer X is, which means this is a hammer. This was a major breakthrough. Upon the discovery of hammer-shaped pennants in northern Europe, scientists concluded that Vikings wore such pennants for protection. Number 1. A lost Viking kingdom. During the survey of a Viking tomb, it was concluded to be an important leader and had been buried with a longship. Far too important a discovery to risk damaging. It was sealed for future research. 2007, it was reopened within a Viking ship burial mound. There's no record of who this man is. He appears to have been wealthy around 8900. He had been a king of a small kingdom not known to historians. It would have been short-lived and soon recorded in Norway. During heavy snowstorms, researchers found his well-preserved Viking sword lying on the ground. Probably been undisturbed for over 1,000 years. The sword is badly rusted and unknown why it was abandoned. Seeing it survive in the open for so long just goes to show how strong Viking swords were. It's amazing how far Viking explorers expanded, and it's not clear how far their colonies extended. It's unclear where Viking colonies reached and where Vinland is located. However, these two questions are some of the greatest Viking mysteries of all time. Although it was a large Viking colony, its location remains unclear. In North America, only one long-term settlement has been discovered. The settlement is not fought as Vinland, but as part of an expanded colony. The real question is, how far did Vinland extend, and where were the other settlements that August Hellas Vinland failed to establish due to internal Viking conflicts? Well, that's some of it. There's many fascinating stories about the Vikings, and there are some of their mysteries. What do you think about these mind-boggling discoveries? Let us know in the comments below. As always, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.